the county will try not to use any outside resources, but try to do as much of the work in-house. And so that's one of the things that we'll be focusing on, is trying to allocate our resources accordingly. So we will be bringing back a work program to address the town plan, to address the LCP. But again, a lot of it is going to take meeting with the Coastal Commission, talking with the Coastal Commission as far as how far do we take it.
Yeah, and I guess part of what's driving my concern here is I would say roughly, I'm just guessing here, roughly 15 months ago, we had this kind of layout. And it was not as formal, it was not as well developed, not as detailed. But the feeling was that the updated Mendocino Town Plan was one of the 4 cards in this particular deck. And now it seems that it's kind of slipped down and slipped off the table somewhat, or it's over there on the side. It's not part of the deck, let's put it that way. And I'm a little concerned that that does not represent the level of commitment to getting this town plan taken care of and done in accord with what is required and has been in place, the requirement having been in place for so long, which is get it done, get it revised, get it updated, and let's get this thing out of the way. So that's why I'm really taking more time than I really should. I apologize, but it's just an issue here that I think needs to be given priority and not be seen as the deuce in this whole deck.
And again, if I could respond to that, part of bringing that work plan back to the board would be to revisit the priorities with the board.
Good. Thank you.
That's it, Supervisor Colfax.
That's it. Yes.
Supervisor McCown.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just have some comments. With regard to the Mendocino Town Plan in particular, I think there's a resource that is currently being overlooked, and that's the public. And I think that there is a lot of disagreement over whether the Mendocino Town Plan should just be updated, whether it should be revised. People don't agree on that. They don't agree on the end result that they'd like to see. But I believe that all of the members of the public who are interested in the issue agree on the need for accurate data. And that's, I think, the key element in whether we update or revise the Mendocino Town Plan. We need to do our best to have accurate data. So far, we aren't really, or haven't been able to get that. The Mendocino Community Services District can tell you that a house exists. They can't tell you if it's a vacation rental, if it's a second home, or if it's a full-time residence. The only way to do that is ground truthing by people who know the community. And I would hope that the people in the community, whether they agree or disagree on other issues, would be willing to work together cooperatively to at least provide accurate data. So I think that's something that I would hope the board would be willing to give direction that we pursue that. I've got a couple of comments on the schedule. Like all previous schedules, I think history proves that schedules are made to be broken, and it's a noble attempt to lay out an ambitious work program. I won't be surprised if it changes going forward. And I think with regard to the Ukiah Valley Area Plan and the General Plan update, that's certainly been true over time. And I wouldn't want to shortchange the opportunity for the public to be fully involved and for the Planning Commission to take as much time as they think is warranted to review these in deference to trying to stick to the schedule. So I think we should look at this as something that's going to evolve, but I think we do need to stay on top of all 4 of the major planning elements that have been identified. It's kind of unfortunate they've all come together at once, but that's what's on our plate. Thank you.
Okay. Any members of the public want to speak on this item? Okay, with sure, come forward.
Hi, I'm Wendy Roberts. I'm a longtime resident of Mendocino and have been quite involved in observing this process and participating. I think Mr. McGowan nailed it. The single issue that is urgent to resolve is the matter of data on visitor serving and long-term residences in Mendocino. Everything else falls into place. The plan is far from perfect. It's got ambiguities, it's got problems. They're in there. Some of the things I consider problems, someone else might consider a welcome ambiguity. But basically, the rules are there. They have not been enforced for a very long time, pending updates of the data. It's time to get the data straight. There are only two kinds of places in Mendocino. There are places that are residences, long-term or short-term, and places that serve visitors. And there are several categories of those. It's counting noses. I agree. On the ground and a mail, some kind of a certification of the use of your property, if that's even legal, needs to be done in order to get good data. I do know that we've got to be very careful who's on the ground, because you walk by a house and there are fanciful tales about what the people in that house do with the house, you know, and who owns the cars that are in front of it. Some people just have big families, and they visit, and they come back and forth. This is not evidence that money is changing hands. So there are many pitfalls even with doing an on-the-ground thing. I know the personal stories of the houses immediately around me, and I have seen in writing very different allegations about those places. So this is not going to be easy. And as far as getting into actual revision of that plan, an amendment to the plan, we have children, puppies, and kittens who need food in this county right now. And yes, we need to make this workable, but investing in the kind of, you know, public display that would be required to actually end up with an amendment would be just an enormous cost. So just some thoughts, but I'm really happy to see the focus on getting the data straight. This is long overdue. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Roberts. Any other members want to speak on this item? Okay, with that, this is not an action item, this is just an update. So with that, we're gonna move on to our 9:30 timed item. Sorry that we're gonna skip up. This is item number 6E, a discussion of possible action to allocate 7% of the $45,000 of the full county payment for Title III projects. CEO is a sponsor. I know Roberta Hurd is here. Allison, are you here to lead this off?
Mr. Chair, Allison Glassie of our office will be doing the presentation. Jennifer Wyatt originally prepared the item, but unfortunately has been called off to jury duty,
Right.
and she's unavailable. We do have members of the public here also to speak
Right.
to the requests.
You want to make a short presentation here? I know we have Roberta Hurt. She might want to come forward too.
Allison Glassie, Assistant CEO. Yes, very short presentation. You have the agenda summary in front of you, and this discussion item and action item is to allocate $45,000 of the county payment for Title III projects, and there are 3 entities that would be receiving these funds under the proposal, and I am happy to introduce Roberta Hurt.
The intent of Title II is to enhance forest ecosystems and improve schools and roads. We had approximately 15 projects between 2004 and 2008, and a lot of them were done by contract. We issued one with the Mendocino County Roads Department. We worked with the Department of Fish and Game. We brought Kids into the Woods project. There are many things that we've used the past dollars for.